When he realizes you're not coming back, the first thing that begins to happen is that he truly starts to see your value, something that may have been invisible to him before. It's not about playing games or holding grudges. It's about standing firm in your worth. When you stop chasing, when you no longer make yourself available on demand or wait anxiously for his next move, you're sending a message far stronger than any words could express. You are showing that your time, your energy, and your heart are precious, and that they are not to be taken lightly or wasted. Most people don't appreciate what they have until it's gone, but it's more than just loss. It's about realization. When you step back and refuse to be drawn back into the old patterns, he's forced to see what he's been missing all along. Your absence creates space for clarity. It forces him to confront the truth. You are someone who deserves respect, loyalty, and consistency. That realization can shake him to his core because it means he can no longer take you for granted. This moment, when he truly sees your value, is powerful because it shifts the dynamics. You're no longer the person who bends, compromises endlessly, or waits patiently for scraps of attention. You have stepped into a space of strength where you honor yourself above all else. And when a person finally understands that, it's often the beginning of transformation, not just for him, but for you as well. Your worth is not dependent on his recognition, but his realization acts as a mirror showing what he failed to appreciate. It's a moment charged with emotion, but it's also filled with opportunity. The opportunity for him to grow, to change, or to face the consequences of his choices. But no matter what he does, you hold the power because you made a decision to stop chasing what isn't reciprocated. You reclaim your dignity the moment you decide you won't run back to what broke you. You show that your love for yourself outweighs any fear of being alone. And that kind of self-love is magnetic. It commands respect and admiration far beyond any plea or apology ever could. So when he sees you standing firm, moving on, and thriving without him, that's when your true value shines brightest. And no matter what happens next, you have already won by choosing yourself. Sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is nothing at all. When he realizes you're not coming back, your silence becomes louder than any argument, any explanation, or any attempt to win him back. Silence isn't weakness, it's strength. It's a choice to stop filling the space with words that may have fallen on deaf ears for too long. In that silence, you reclaim your power because you are no longer reacting out of pain or desperation. You are responding with calm confidence. People often mistake silence for indifference, but it's far from that. Your silence says you've moved beyond the need for validation from someone who couldn't give it to you. It shows you respect yourself enough to not engage in the back and forth of emotional turmoil. Silence can make him feel the weight of his absence because it removes the noise and distractions that once masked the reality of the situation. Now he has to face the truth without any sugarcoating. When you stop responding, when you remove yourself from the equation, you create a mirror for him to look into. In that quiet, he starts to hear the echoes of his own mistakes in the space you've left behind. This absence of response creates a vacuum, one that forces reflection, because silence leaves room for thought. It's in these moments that he may begin to ask himself questions he never dared to ask before. What did I lose? What did I take for granted? What did she really mean to me? This kind of silence is intentional. It's not about ignoring someone out of spite or arrogance, but about honoring your own healing process. It protects your peace and shields you from falling back into old patterns. When you remain silent, you're also sending a clear message that your time and energy are no longer available for someone who failed to appreciate them. This forces a reckoning that words alone cannot accomplish. Silence demands respect. It forces the other person to confront their absence and what it meant in the larger picture of your life. When you're no longer reacting, when you stop chasing, you regain control of your narrative. You shift from being a passive player to the author of your own story, one where you set the terms and decide the ending. This silence isn't just about what he feels, it's about what you feel and how you protect your emotional boundaries. It's about understanding that your peace is more valuable than temporary reconciliation. And sometimes the loudest statement you can make is no statement at all. Your silence speaks volumes, and in that quiet power, you find your freedom. When he finally realizes you're not coming back, what really starts to unfold is a powerful revelation. The absence reveals what was truly missing all along. It's one of those moments where clarity cuts through confusion, and what once was overlooked or ignored becomes undeniable. This isn't just about the distance you created, it's about what that distance exposed. The gaps, the neglected emotions, the unspoken needs. Sometimes you have to step away for the true picture to emerge, for the real story to be told. And in that space, the truth becomes crystal clear. What was missing wasn't just your presence, it was the respect, the consistency, the genuine care that should have been there from the beginning. When you're no longer around, it's impossible to hide the cracks in what he thought was solid. The things he overlooked, the moments he took for granted, suddenly stand out in stark contrast to the void you left behind. Absence exposes those weak points, forcing him to see that what he had was not just about having you near, it was about valuing you deeply and authentically. It's easy to get comfortable in what's familiar, to ignore the subtle signs of neglect or disrespect because they don't scream loudly enough at first. But absence has a way of amplifying those small whispers into undeniable truths. When you're gone, the silence screams the loudest, and the space you once filled becomes a reminder of what was missing. Not just in the relationship, but in how he treated you. It's a painful revelation, but a necessary one, because sometimes we don't recognize what we truly need until it's no longer within reach. This revelation can be jarring. It might shake his perspective and force him to reconsider what he allowed to slip through his fingers. The respect that wasn't shown, the moments he was emotionally absent, the promises that weren't kept, they all come into sharp focus. It's a wake-up call that might stir regret, or at least recognition, but beyond regret, it's an opportunity for him to reflect on what healthy relationships truly require and what he might need to change to be worthy of the connection he lost. For you, this moment is about standing firm in your boundaries. It's about understanding that absence is not punishment, but protection. You're not gone because you want to hurt him. You're gone because you deserve more. You're gone because staying would mean settling for less than what you're worth. This space allows both of you to see what the relationship was really missing. And for you, it's a chance to heal, to grow, and to reclaim your peace. Sometimes absence teaches us more than presence ever could. It forces honesty, demands growth, and shines a light on the reality we may have been too afraid to face. And when he finally sees what was missing, it validates your decision to walk away and never look back. What was missing is now clear, and in that clarity, you find your strength. When he realizes you're not coming back, regret is often the first feeling that hits him hard. It's a powerful emotion, the kind that wakes a person up, forcing them to face their own mistakes and missed opportunities. But regret isn't just about feeling sorry, it's about understanding the weight of what was lost and how deeply that loss cuts when it's real and final. And this moment of regret is intense because it's the mirror reflecting not only what he failed to appreciate, but also the consequences of his actions or regret comes from the knowledge that the chance to have you, the real, whole, valuable you, was there, but he didn't treat it with the respect it deserved. Maybe he took your love for granted. assuming it would always be there no matter what he did or didn't do. Maybe he didn't show up emotionally, wasn't consistent, or failed to communicate in ways that mattered. Whatever the reasons, the absence of your return forces him to sit with those uncomfortable truths. This is the moment when the realization sinks in that what he had wasn't just an option, but a gift. And that gift is now gone. It's important to recognize that regret can be a double-edged sword. It can motivate change, inspire growth, and lead to deeper self-awareness, but only if it's accompanied by real reflection and action. Unfortunately, regret can also linger as bitterness, causing pain without progress if it's not handled with maturity. But for you, this regret serves as confirmation that you made the right decision. You chose to walk away not out of spite, but because you knew your worth, because you refused to settle for anything less than what you deserve. What he's feeling is not just loss, it's a profound understanding that some things aren't easily replaced or forgotten. Your absence becomes a void that no apology or empty promise can fill. This emptiness is a reminder that respect, love, and loyalty can't be demanded. They must be earned and maintained consistently. When you're no longer there to pick up the pieces, he must face the reality of his choices alone. It's a harsh lesson, but one that brings clarity to what healthy relationships should look like. In this process, you are growing stronger. You are healing from the wounds of neglect or disrespect and rising above the pain. While he's grappling with regret, you're moving forward with your dignity intact, knowing that your value isn't diminished by someone else's failure to recognize it. This is the power of choosing yourself over someone who failed to honor your presence. Regret is a natural consequence of what he lost, but your future is built on what you're gaining. Peace, strength, and the freedom to attract what truly serves your soul. Regret teaches him what he lost, but your growth shows him what he never had. When he finally understands that you're not coming back, it often triggers a shift in his mindset, a shift that moves from denial or hope to acceptance. Acceptance is a difficult place to reach because it means letting go of the fantasy that things can go back to how they were. It means facing the truth that the relationship has changed irrevocably and that you've made a firm decision to move forward without him. This acceptance is painful, but it's also honest, and honesty is the foundation for real growth, both for him and for you. In that moment, he begins to realize that life goes on without you, and that no amount of longing or regret can rewrite the past. This forces him to confront the consequences of his choices in a way he couldn't before. When you're gone for good, he no longer has the safety net of your presence, the chance to fix things tomorrow, or the hope that you'll return to him. Instead, he must face the reality of what life looks like without you. This is where acceptance takes root, and with it, a sense of responsibility for the role he played in the relationship's outcome. Acceptance is not just about him. It's about you embracing your own power. It's about standing firm in your decision and knowing that walking away was an act of self-respect and strength. You are no longer available to be an option or a fallback. You have chosen yourself, your peace, and your future. This is the message you send by staying true to your boundaries. You demonstrate that you value yourself enough not to compromise on what you deserve, even if it means letting go. This acceptance often brings clarity for him. It's a painful lesson, but a necessary one. He sees that love is not just about presence, but about commitment, respect, and consistency. Without those, love cannot survive. When you choose not to come back, you teach him that actions have consequences and that taking someone for granted ultimately leads to loss. This moment can inspire real change, but only if he's willing to learn and grow from it. Meanwhile, you gain freedom. Freedom from waiting, from hoping, and from the emotional drain of uncertainty. You reclaim your time and energy, redirecting them toward your own growth and happiness. This acceptance is the gateway to your own healing. allowing you to build a life where you are whole and strong on your own. Letting go is never easy, but it is necessary. It opens the door for new beginnings and for the kind of love and respect you truly deserve. Acceptance marks the end of what was and the beginning of what will be. When he finally realizes that you're not coming back, there's often a moment where he starts to feel the weight of your absence, not just physically, but emotionally and mentally. This absence creates a space where he begins to reflect deeply, perhaps for the first time, on what he truly lost. It's in this quiet space, away from the noise of daily distractions and excuses, that true understanding begins to take root. Sometimes it takes losing something valuable for someone to fully appreciate its worth, and that is exactly what happens here. What's remarkable is how absence doesn't just remind him of your presence, it forces him to confront the impact you had on his life. It's easy to overlook the value of someone when they're always around, when their love and attention feel almost guaranteed. But when you're gone, the space you filled becomes unmistakably clear. It's like a missing piece of a puzzle that he didn't realize was essential until it was no longer there. This absence strips away any illusions or excuses, leaving only the truth of what he lost. In this process, he begins to see the patterns that led to your departure. Maybe it was neglect, inconsistency, or a failure to prioritize what really mattered. Maybe it was taking you for granted, assuming that your forgiveness or return would always be available. Absence reveals those blind spots, the things he was unwilling or unable to face before. It's a powerful wake-up call because it highlights not just the loss of a person, but the loss of trust, respect, and connection. For you, this absence is an act of self-preservation. It's a boundary set to protect your heart and your peace. It says loudly and clearly that your worth is not something to be negotiated or compromised. You are choosing yourself, your growth, and your healing over a relationship that failed to honor those things. This absence is not about punishment. It's about clarity and empowerment. It's about stepping into your power and refusing to settle for less than you deserve. When he feels your absence, it challenges him to grow if he is willing. It invites reflection, accountability, and a deeper understanding of what healthy love truly requires. But this growth only happens if he takes responsibility and learns from the loss. The absence is not a guarantee of change, but it is a necessary space for it to begin. Meanwhile, you are reclaiming your time and energy, focusing on your own path and opening yourself to new possibilities. This is the strength that comes from standing firm in your decision and honoring your worth. The power of absence is undeniable. It teaches lessons that presence never could. When he finally grasps that you're not coming back, something inside him shifts, often in ways he never expected. This isn't just about missing you. It's about the way your absence changes the way he sees himself and the choices he made. This moment is profound because it forces him to face his own shortcomings, his mistakes, and the reality of what it means to lose someone who truly mattered. It's a reckoning, a moment of truth that shakes him to his core. What's important to understand is that this realization isn't instantaneous. It's not a sudden flash of clarity, but a slow burning recognition that grows over time. He begins to replay moments, conversations, and decisions, searching for where it all went wrong. He questions his actions and his heart. He wonders if he took your love for granted, if he was blind to the signs, or if he simply didn't prioritize what mattered most. This internal reflection can be painful, but it's necessary for any real growth to take place. This is where true accountability starts. He can no longer hide behind excuses or distractions. When you're not coming back, he has to own his part in the story. He has to recognize how his behavior affected you and the relationship. This is not about blaming, but about honest evaluation, an honest look in the mirror that many avoid, but that is essential for transformation. When he does this, he starts to understand what it means to respect, value, and truly love another person. Your decision not to return is a powerful teacher. It shows him that love isn't just words or promises, it's actions and consistency. It reveals that trust, once broken or neglected, cannot be mended with empty gestures or fleeting apologies. Your absence is a clear message that some things, once lost, can't simply be taken for granted again. This clarity is crucial because it pushes him to confront the kind of partner he wants to be, not just for you, but for himself and any future relationships. While he's working through this internal struggle, you are growing in your own strength. You're not waiting on his realization or change. You're building a life anchored in your self-worth and purpose. This separation is not a punishment. It's a chance for both of you to evolve. For him, it's the start of understanding what he truly needs to become. For you, it's the freedom to create a future where you are honored, respected, and loved without compromise. It's also important to note that this realization can inspire hope, but only if it leads to genuine change. If he remains stuck in regret or blame, nothing will shift. But if he takes responsibility and commits to growth, this moment can be the catalyst for a new beginning, whether that means rebuilding trust or simply becoming a better person moving forward. Ultimately, your absence is a mirror reflecting his true character. It reveals what he's made of when faced with loss and whether he can rise to the challenge of becoming someone worthy of love. The power of this moment lies not just in what he loses, but in what he learns and in what you gain by standing firm in your truth. When he realizes you're not coming back, the way he views his own identity and self-worth begins to change. This is a moment where pride meets reality, and he must reconcile who he thought he was with the person he has become in your absence. Often, people wrap their sense of worth in relationships, believing that having someone by their side defines their value. But when you step away and refuse to return, it forces him to look inward to find worth that isn't dependent on you or anyone else. This is a painful but crucial awakening. He must confront the fact that his value is not something given by your presence or absence. It is something he needs to cultivate within himself. This shift requires humility, a willingness to face uncomfortable truths about himself without blaming others or circumstances. When you're not there to soften the blow or pick up the pieces, he's left with the raw, unfiltered version of who he is and what he has become. This moment can either break him or build him. If he allows it to break him, he may fall into despair or bitterness, blaming you or the situation for his pain. But if he chooses to build himself from this experience, this loss becomes a catalyst for deep personal growth. He begins to understand that true strength is born from accountability and self-reflection, not from holding on to what is gone or trying to control what cannot be changed. Your absence teaches him an important lesson about respect, not just respect for you, but respect for himself. He learns that respect cannot be demanded. It must be earned through actions, consistency, and genuine care. When he sees that you will not come back just because he says so or because he regrets it, he begins to understand the power of integrity and character. At the same time, this realization encourages him to redefine what love truly means. Love isn't just about possession or convenience. It's about commitment, sacrifice, and honoring the other person's worth and boundaries. Your choice to move forward without him is a clear message that love requires more than empty promises. It requires living up to the trust and respect that make any relationship meaningful. For you, this is a time of empowerment. Standing firm in your decision not to return shows that you value yourself and your well-being above temporary comforts or old patterns. It's about choosing peace, growth, and self-respect over uncertainty and emotional dependence. This boundary sends a powerful message that your happiness and future are not negotiable. He may also start to realize the loneliness that comes from losing someone who truly cared, but it's in this solitude that he has the opportunity to rebuild himself. Not for you, not for anyone else, but for his own sake. This is where true transformation begins, when he understands that self-worth must come from within and that healthy relationships can only flourish when both people bring their whole, authentic selves. This process isn't easy, and it doesn't happen overnight. But the longer he stays in this place of reflection and acceptance, the more he learns about who he really is and what he needs to change. Your absence isn't just a consequence of the past. It's a catalyst for a future where he can grow into the man he was meant to be. Ultimately, your decision not to come back is a powerful force for his growth and a testament to your strength. Growth comes from pain, but it also comes from the courage to let go and the wisdom to stand firm. When he realizes you're not coming back, one of the deepest truths he faces is the finality of your decision. This isn't a temporary distance or a phase that will eventually fade away. It's a clear, unshakable boundary you have set for your own well-being and peace of mind. And in that moment, he must come to terms with the fact that some opportunities, some chances, are not endless. This realization is often the hardest pill to swallow because it strips away the comfort of hope and forces him to confront reality head on. It's natural for people to want second chances, to believe that mistakes can be undone and relationships reset. But your decision to not return speaks volumes. It says that growth, respect, and commitment must be earned, not assumed. When you choose yourself and refuse to go back, you are holding space for something far greater than just reconciliation. You are holding space for dignity, for self-respect, and for a future where you refuse to settle for less than you deserve. This clarity brings with it a harsh but necessary lesson about consequences. Actions have consequences, and sometimes those consequences mean losing what once felt permanent. It forces him to understand that love is not a game where the rules change according to convenience. If he took you for granted, if he neglected what was sacred between you, he must now face what that neglect costs. The cost is not just your absence, it is the trust and the bond that can no longer be repaired without true change. Your absence also forces him to examine what it means to truly value someone. It's easy to say, I love you, or to promise change when the person is right in front of you. But when you walk away and don't come back, it demands a level of sincerity and commitment that can't be faked. It calls him to ask himself if he was ever truly present, if he truly respected you as a partner and an individual. And if the answer is no, this realization becomes a powerful moment of reckoning. On your side, not coming back is a statement of empowerment. It's saying that you will not compromise your peace or your self-worth for someone who failed to appreciate what they had. It's a refusal to let your story be rewritten by someone who didn't value your presence when you were there. This boundary protects your heart and your future, and it demands that anyone who wants to be part of your life must meet you where you are, not where they wish you were. This decision also cultivates a profound sense of freedom, freedom from cycles of hurt, from the emotional roller coaster of back and forth, from the exhaustion of hoping for change that never comes. It frees you to focus on your growth, your dreams, and your happiness without the weight of someone else's indecision or mistakes. It is a powerful act of self-love that opens the door to a better, brighter future. Meanwhile, he's left with the reality that losing you is not just a consequence, it's a wake-up call. It's a call to action for him to grow, to heal, and to become a better man, whether or not that ever includes you again. It challenges him to rethink what it means to be responsible for his own growth and his own happiness, instead of relying on your presence to define his life. In the end, when he sees that you are not coming back, it's more than just the loss of a relationship. It's the loss of what could have been if he had chosen differently. It's the recognition that sometimes The greatest gift you can give someone is the freedom to find themselves and the space to realize what they lost when you walked away. This moment is painful, yes, but it is also the beginning of something real, something honest. And for you, it is the affirmation that standing firm in your truth is the most powerful choice you can make. Sometimes the greatest strength is not in holding on, but in knowing when to let go. When he realizes you're not coming back, one of the most profound shifts that occurs is the way he starts to truly value the time and moments he once took for granted. It's easy to overlook the small things when someone is always there. The late night talks, the shared laughter, the simple presence that brings comfort. But when you decide not to return, those small things become glaringly absent, and suddenly the weight of what was lost hits with full force. This is when he begins to understand that relationships are not just about grand gestures or occasional efforts. They are about consistent presence, genuine attention, and unwavering respect. He realizes that the moments he ignored or the times he was distracted were actually the building blocks of something precious. And now, without you there to share them, those moments become memories, reminders of what slipped away because he didn't recognize their true value. It's a humbling experience, one that forces him to rethink how he treats the people he cares about. He learns that love is an active commitment, not a passive expectation. You don't come back just because someone says they're sorry or promises to change. Real change requires action, dedication, and a deep understanding that the time lost cannot simply be reclaimed. For you, standing firm in your decision not to come back is a testament to your growth and your self-respect. You have learned to value your own time and energy, recognizing that they are finite resources that deserve to be invested wisely. You no longer allow yourself to be an option or a fallback. You are the priority in your own life. This mindset is powerful because it sets a new standard, not just for how others treat you, but for how you treat yourself. He may begin to feel regret, yes, but it is more than just regret for losing you. It's regret for the moments he could have been present but wasn't. Regret for not listening when you spoke, for not showing up when it mattered most. This realization is painful, but it also holds the seed of transformation. When he fully understands the value of what he lost, he has a chance to become a better man, not just for you, but for himself and for whoever he may love in the future. This moment also shines a light on the importance of timing. Sometimes people think that love means holding on tight and never letting go, but love also means knowing when to step back and allow space for growth and healing. When you don't come back, you give him that space to reflect, to change, and to see life from a different perspective. It's a gift wrapped in tough love, but a gift nonetheless. You, on the other hand, reclaim your power. You choose peace over pain, growth over stagnation, and self-love over settling for less. You become a living example of strength and resilience, showing that walking away is not defeat. It's courage. Courage to say no to what doesn't serve your highest good, and yes to a future filled with possibility. He may never fully understand this at first, but over time, the absence of your presence will teach him lessons that words never could. It will challenge him to become someone worthy of the love he once had, but failed to cherish. And while that may or may not include you again, the real victory is in the growth that happens because you stood your ground. Remember, the greatest respect you can command is the respect you show yourself. When you honor your worth by not coming back, you create a space where true love, respect, and honor can eventually grow, whether that is with him or with someone new. Your strength today shapes your future tomorrow,